Hello and welcome. This is Africa in 10 minutes, where we bring to you trending business news from around the continent this week, courtesy Footprint to Africa. I am Mike, Mr. Kenor, and it's great to have you on the show. Let's take a look at the highlights for this week. Ghana's outlook remains positive, Stand chart. Samsung East Africa picks a supply chain company, Reddington Gulf, to be one of its key distributors in Kenya. Ghana considers a new legislation to give 30% of public contracts to locals. Shareholders of Barclays OK name change to Absa Group. Safaricom CEO Bob Collymore named East Africa Corporate Chief of the Year. East African Conference of Ministers told to commit their resources to creating the world's largest trade bloc. Settlen CEO says $47.5 million partnership with TPG will help speed up Africa's growth and development. Now the news in details. Standard Chartered Bank's chief economist for Africa, Razia Khan, has described Ghana's economic outlook as positive, but added that the country should continue to take measures against potential shocks. Speaking during a meeting with journalists in Accra, Ms. Khan said Ghana was heading into the right direction with the reforms on the IMF's Extended Credit Facility program and called for the institutionalization of the reforms going forward. It's on the right road. It is headed in the right direction. The progress is still going to be monitored for another year. There is a lot that Ghana needs to do to properly institutionalize such reforms, she said. Sometimes what gives investors more confidence is that we see those reforms that become so deeply embedded that there is no longer a need to go from program to program, she added. Samsung Electronics East Africa, a subsidiary of a global tech company of the same name, has appointed Reddington Gulf as one of its key distributors for its smartphone and tablet devices in Kenya. Following the announcement this week, head of SEEA's mobile division, Charles Kimari, said the partnership is set to expand Samsung's supply coverage in the increasingly competitive mobile market and stimulate increased market share growth. The addition of Reddington as one of our key distributors will increase the availability of our devices across the country, he explained. As we have always maintained, our aim is to continuously improve on the customer experience by offering best-in-market products and grow our presence throughout the country, he added. Ghana's Ministry for Business Development is pushing for a legislation to make it mandatory for 30% of all public-funded contracts to be given to local entrepreneurs, especially startups. Business Development Minister Mohamed Awal revealed this during a working visit to the Accra Digital Center and the Africa Internship Academy, where over 500 young entrepreneurs are being trained to build on their entrepreneurial skills under the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan initiative. You cannot grow an economy and leave out an important group like 48% of the people, that is the youth. Now, because most of them have businesses and business ideas, but they do not have the money to scale up and don't have collateral as well. We are here to tell the young people that after the training, we will support them start their businesses and hold their hands for the rest of their lives, he said. Shareholders of Barclays Africa Group have given approval for the group to change its name to Absa Group Limited in July, setting in motion the start of one of the largest rebrand projects in Africa at this time, the bank announced on Tuesday, May 15th, after its shareholder meeting. The vote in support of our name change in July marks another milestone in our separation from Barclays PLC to become an independent African bank with global reach, said Wendy Lucas-Bull, chairman of Barclays Africa Group Limited. This is the start of a brand journey that will galvanize our operations across Africa behind a single brand and purpose, she added. As part of the process, the new name must be registered by South Africa's Companies and Intellectual Property Commission. In accordance with the timetable that we have shared with our shareholders, The name change is expected to be effective on 11th of July 2018. The group's share code on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange will change from BGA to ABG on 11th of July. Safaricom CEO Bob Collymore has been named the Corporate Executive of the Year at the inaugural East Africa Com Awards, which celebrate achievements of the people and companies accelerating digital transformation in East Africa. Collymore, who stands at the helm of Kenya's largest telecommunications company, was honored at a ceremony held in Nairobi on May 15th. At the ceremony, 3 Safaricom innovations on customer service, health, and agriculture also won awards. We are delighted by the recognition of the innovations that we have brought to the market. This is a testament of the transformation that technology is bringing to the people's lives, said Steve Shege, Safaricom Director of Corporate Affairs. The 6 categories at the awards were the Best Network Improvement, Delivering Excellence in Customer Experience, Most Innovative Service, Changing Lives Award, and East African CXO of the Year. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed has urged finance ministers and policymakers to use their collective vision to create the right conditions and commit the necessary resources for the creation of the world's largest trading bloc. Dr. Ahmed was speaking this week during the official opening of the 51st Conference of Ministers. The transformational opportunities offered by the African Continental Free Trade Area, together with the measures needed to unlock them, have become the focus for a high-level ministerial dialogue convened by the UN Economic Commission for Africa in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The meeting ran from May 11th to May 15th, 2018. Settlen, a premier African digital payment platform operating in Kenya and Nigeria, has sold an unspecified stake to US-based private investment firm TPG for $47.5 million. The company's CEO says the deal will be a game changer as both firms seek to disrupt Africa's financial services sector in a private way. Settlen is self-described as the payments platform for businesses on the move, while TPG is one of the largest private equity investment firms in the world. With 2/3 of Africans unable to access a bank account, we believe that building a connected payments infrastructure is the foundation of solving real challenges and accelerating Africa's growth and development, said Ken Njoroge, Settlen's co-founder and chief executive. Speaking after the announcement on May 14, 2018, Bill McGlashan, CEO and co-founder of the Rise Fund, the impact investment arm of TPG that invested the cash, explained that across the continent, expanding easy-to-use and low-cost mobile banking offers immense potential for impact. On that note, we draw the curtains on this week's episode of Africa in 10 minutes. Let's take a recap of the stories. Ghana's outlook remains positive, Stan chart. Samsung East Africa picks a supply chain company, Reddington Gulf, to be one of its key distributors in Kenya. Ghana considers a new legislation to give 30% of public contracts to locals. Shareholders of Barclays OK name change to Absa Group. Safaricom CEO Bob Collymore named East Africa Corporate Chief of the Year. East African Conference of Ministers told to commit their resources to creating the world's largest trade bloc. Settlen CEO says $47.5 million partnership with TPG will help speed up Africa's growth and development. You can send in questions, make comments, and keep up with the news on our various social media channels. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and connect with us on LinkedIn. Visit www.footprint2africa, where these stories were called from. Footprint to Africa, business news made in Africa, by Africans, for Africans.